Hello, and welcome to Inklings with Irina, the weekly energy show connecting you to your intuitive guidance system. And today I want to talk about how to spot the karma that's tripping you up. If we haven't met yet, my name is Irina Miller. I'm an intuitive energy guide, and I have been guiding women for over 2 decades on this very topic to spot those places where the karma pops up like a limiting belief, a self-sabotager, or just simply holds them back from going after that raise or leaving the job or heck, moving across country and following their heart's desire. All of these adventures have been big pieces of my clients' lives, and I'm happy to say that they've been able to pursue them. So let's jump into this, how to spot the karma that's tripping you up. I'm going to give you 3 very specific techniques that I share with my clients. I'm going to share with you today. And I call it my CPR technique. And now before I get into sharing that, I want to give you a little bit of background so you can see it in action and what I mean by it. So just picture it for a moment. Beautiful young gal starting her career, just graduated from college, and she's excited to get out into the corporate world. She's met her dream guy, she's a newlywed, and she's looking to really get on the fast track into management. And what she discovers all of a sudden is that she's running into problems. She's running into problems with her husband, and they always say, you know, the honeymoon wears off after a little bit, but there was something else going on. And she was discovering that she wasn't able to make a connection with her team in this new corporate space where she was, and she started to get concerned. So that's when she came to me. She said, something's going on, and I'm frustrated. What is happening, and how can I pursue my heart's dreams? I'm excited that I have this wonderful opportunity, and I feel like something is really tripping me up. What is happening? So that's what we did. For a moment, we took that moment to just say, what is going on? We challenged the feelings that were arising. The second thing was giving herself a moment to really pause and say, you know, if I feel these feelings and recognize that there's a pattern here, there's a recurring pattern. This happened before in a previous experience. She was telling me a moment in time that it happened earlier, and what she discovered, which was even more fascinating, was she remembered a story her mom had told her, a story of frustration that she had experienced with her father and with her grandfather. So what happened was we started to unpack the layers, and we reflected on this a little bit. And what we discovered was that there was a karmic line, an ancestral karmic pattern that was being transmitted down through her family line. She started to discover that the frustrations that were popping up was this feeling that the women in her line were always left high and dry, that the guys just ended up and going. And here's the interesting thing, was that these women, they were left in very trying times, but the guys didn't just up and leave because they left for greener pastures somewhere else. They were working so hard to provide for their family that they ended up dying at a very young and early age. It happened to her mother's father, so her grandmother's husband. It happened to her great-grandmother's husband. And the pattern just went back and back and on and on. And all of a sudden, my client, in that moment of reflection, discovered that she was looking for the ball to drop, for that moment where she would be left all alone to have to take care of it and pursue on her own, without a team to support her, without a partner to be by her side. So one of the things that we did was we went through these 3 techniques that I'm going to share with you, and she had that aha awakening moment, that moment where she discovered, I don't have to live the karma. I don't have to live the patterns that the women did in my ancestral line, but I can clear that energy, which we did in our session together. And, karma has many layers to it. We'll clear that first level, and then we'll discover, there's something else popping up around this. But what my client was able to do was develop a really meaningful relationship with her husband and also with her team at work. So she was able to continue to pursue her heart's calling. doing and to continue on that management track. So the first technique that I invite you to use that my client did was challenge. Challenge the feelings that are coming up, those feelings of frustration, those feelings of, oh my God, I'm beating my head against the wall. The universe has it out for me. What am I doing wrong? Why do I always end up here? Why are people letting me down? I want to invite you to challenge those feelings rather than feel like you have to say, oh, you know what? I just need to get over this. I just need to push through, forget this and move on. Because you know what? Those stuffed down emotions and feelings and energy, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to just settle deeper and deeper. And then as they settle into your subconscious, they'll end up tripping you up along the way. The second thing is pause. When you pause, you give yourself a moment to really see what's going on, to see the pattern in action. That's where my client had the opportunity to say, oh my goodness, that's right. This happened to my mother. This happened to my grandmother. And this happened to my great-great-grandmother. She started to see that these women in her line were just left high and dry. Her grandmother was left with 2 young children to raise in the 1940s, and her great-grandmother was left at the turn of the century with 11 children to figure out how am I going to take care of them. And, it's very, very challenging not to continue those patterns and feel like, oh, when's the other shoe going to drop? When am I going to be left high and dry? And then you miss out on so much life. So that's the final piece, is the R, the reflection, to give yourself that opportunity to simply reflect and say, wow, how has this been affecting my life? Where have I been shutting out my teammates or my partner and trying to do it all by myself because I'm preparing for that moment when I'm on my own and everybody's left me? And you realize, wow, it doesn't have to be like that. Just because it happened to, my grandmother and my great-grandmother and the great-great-grandmother, doesn't have to happen to me. So what I want to invite you to do is to practice these 3 steps, the CPR technique, as I call it. Challenge the feelings as they come up. Pause for a moment and start to become aware of the pattern. And then finally reflect. Where is it going on in your life and how are you perpetuating it? And that's the first step in this process of how to spot the karma that's tripping you up. If this has brought up more questions rather than answers for you, make sure you leave a little emoji in the hashtag or in the comments below for me. But definitely continue the conversation with me by clicking the link above in the description, and know that the karma doesn't have to trip you up. All right, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Bye, guys.